several thousand students. But each one has been different. And that, I think, is the key message which we try to convey through these ceremonies. Not each ceremony, but each individual is different. And this is why these events are so emotional and so special. Because in them, we recognize not merely academic prowess, although there is so much academic prowess here. Rather, we recognize what is happening, namely the culmination of a journey. And each individual graduate on whom we've conferred degrees this year has gone on their own different journey. And many will have faced extraordinary challenges along the way, their own very personal challenges. And as a tutor, a pastoral tutor in the university, I've been privileged to know some of the challenges that our graduates have faced. And I'm left in awe and wonder at the quality of character that brought them to this day. And that's why ceremonies of this kind, where we celebrate journeys, are especially breathtaking. Because these are our doctors, who have gone on long academic journeys and will have encountered potentially extraordinary challenges on the way. A colleague of mine in the School of Chemistry once described research as being an exercise in failure. Experiments that don't work, theories that have to be revisited, and many dark nights of the soul where you think, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to make it through. And that's why today is so extraordinarily joyful from the university's perspective, because we are going to celebrate brilliant journeys brought to a successful conclusion. Brilliant journeys where people have shown incredible academic rigor, but have married that with deep, deep human qualities of courage and resilience and determination. And in addition, we celebrate and honour 4 journeys through life, which are particularly illustrious. We celebrate a true Irishman, Irish on both sides of the border, whose work, particularly in Northern Ireland, has made such a difference, both to the economy of the place and particularly to the way in which the peace process was enabled to operate. We celebrate a European statesman, one of the great politicians of the last 50 years, who managed the European project through most difficult days and did so with quite extraordinary skill. We celebrate a human rights activist who, through his life and his example, has made life better for others, who, at a personal level and in the context of the marriage referendum, was my daughter's hero. And we celebrate a woman who recently turned 90, who has created an event which is unrivaled in Europe, and who is a beacon for women, a beacon for older people, and one of the most inspirational people I have met in my life. Extraordinary journeys, and we celebrate them today as we celebrate our doctors. But I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate our guests, because you are the parents, the siblings, the partners, the children, the supervisors, and the friends of our candidates today. And the simple reality of the situation is, you don't do journeys of this kind by yourself. You need other people. And you are with them on that journey. And Trinity stands inestimably in your debt. So, for every hug you gave, and for every tear you dried, and for every meal you cooked, and for every text you sent, and for every supportive word, especially when things might have seemed darkest for our candidates, thank you. It's not nearly enough, but from Trinity's perspective, thank you. Let me explain how this ancient ceremony is going to operate today. We are present at a meeting of Trinity's University Senate. The Senate is the highest titular governing body in the university, and it is responsible for awarding degrees. It is headed up by the caput, the head, and in the centre, the Chancellor, Dr. Mary McAleese, former President of Ireland. At the beginning, the caput will process in, followed very colourfully by our new doctors-to-be. The Chancellor at the beginning will welcome us in Latin, and then I will read the minutes of the last meeting of the Senate, which was a commencement ceremony from this morning. And then the real business begins. The Senior Proctor, in his final ceremony as Senior Proctor, will plead to the caput that these, the children of the university, would be entered into their degrees. Candidates are then called up in their various cohorts. They receive their parchments, they're entered into their degrees, and this should be met with cheers, because this is the culmination of that brilliant journey. We then turn to our honorary candidates. And in this regard, I want to introduce my dear friend and colleague, the public orator, Professor Anna Shahood. Professor Shahood will read in Latin an oration, a spectacular oration, for each of our candidates. They then receive their scrolls. This again should be met with cheers. And when this is completed, the Chancellor bids us farewell, and we formally process from here across the front square, because we are showing off. We're showing off our new graduates, the living embodiment of our mission. And we process out across the front square in what will undoubtedly still be breathtakingly beautiful weather, to the dining hall steps, where there will be photographs and a reception, and let the rest of the day's celebrations begin. This is truly magnificent. No matter how many ceremonies I go to, I am always emotional, because there's so much fracture and negativity and cynicism in the world, and this is just pure good. This is the celebration of journeys brought to a wonderful conclusion. And let the celebrations begin. Thank you.